This is what the narcissist actually hears when you speak. Hello everyone, welcome back to the Narcissist and Karma channel. So, let your mind wander to a machine, something resembling a small box-shaped device. You get an inside look at how a narcissist perceives your words. Simply put, you can't hear what I'm saying. Surely, there must be some kind of translation process involved. It's essentially the same as using a translation tool like Google Translate. They allow you to speak into them and then display the translated phrase. Just think about it, Google, yes, you. Maybe you could create the narcissism translator. You can have a conversation into it and hear exactly what the narcissist is hearing. Let's dissect this thing. In that case, how does the narcissist interpret our conversation? You don't get the sense that they're paying attention to you. You make a comment, but they give you a response that has little to do with what you said. Just what is it that they are hearing then? Usually their responses are consistent with a twisted interpretation of what they heard. When you make a statement, they respond with something completely unexpected. It shows they weren't paying attention to what you were saying, or it reflects some other motivation. This can happen even if the facts or your arguments don't back up the agenda being pushed. Let's take a look at this in a variety of contexts and narcissistic subtypes. For the simple reason that it might make you feel sane to learn how a narcissist's brain functions. Example 1. The narcissistic person is not paying attention. Maybe you found yourself wondering, why aren't they listening when I'm talking? The simple fact is that they couldn't care less. Narcissists tend to ignore everything that isn't directly related to them or their own interests. That settles it. While it's normal for anyone to ignore a conversation happening across the room that has nothing to do with them, or to zone out for a second due to exhaustion, most mentally healthy people will pay attention if someone is speaking directly to them. Narcissism is a self-centered way of behaving. People will stop listening to you if what you're saying doesn't have any bearing on their lives, pique their interest, or validate them. How does this conduct manifest itself? Ask them, "Hey, do you remember that girl at work, Mary? Oh my goodness, she must be suffering terribly. Her husband is ill, and last year she lost a child. Thinking about everything she's been through makes me feel terrible. Though I have never met her, I'm determined to find a means of assisting her." The narcissist raises an eyebrow and asks, Just what did you say? What? What exactly is going on in their head? You may be wondering. What's going on in their heads is that what you're saying has no bearing on their situation. In many cases, people turn off all systems that are designed to help others. What you're saying, then, is equivalent to the dog barking down the street. They have no idea who Mary is or why she is important to you. They have completely tuned out. All narcissism shares this characteristic. Second case. The narcissistic person will interpret your words as an attack. When chronic insecurity and shame are triggered, it's interesting to note how much anxiety lies dormant beneath the surface of a personality style like narcissism's bluster and bravado. Their attention is almost laser-focused on anything that makes them feel inferior, like competition, envy, disappointment, or lack of worth. But they're seeing things through a skewed lens. The fact that you got a promotion at work, your sister bought a new house, or you weren't invited to a certain party are all examples of non-threats that could set them off. They may suffer emotional distress, even though these things cannot physically harm them. It may appear simple, but for narcissists, the only thing that matters is satisfying their needs for supply, control, and dominance by receiving the greatest amount of attention and approval. Anything that could compromise these qualities would be considered dangerous. Narcissists, for instance, often display unhealthy levels of competition, even when the stakes couldn't be lower. Who sat at the table with the window view? Compare the prices you paid for tomatoes at the farmer's market. Who went on the most memorable summer trip? So, even temporary success or an honor, such as being honored at work in a field unrelated to theirs, could make them upset, angry, and dismissive. How then do you describe the situation where something that isn't actually threatening to them is perceived as such by them? This can appear in a few distinct forms. Let's say you decide to approach them with the news, "Hey, I got a promotion. My new position is regional director. It involves more money, more responsibilities, and more trips away from home. This makes me very happy. I've fought very hard to achieve this. My previous manager ignored my efforts for years, but my new boss seems to value my contributions. A narcissist with inflated sense of self-importance will see this as an attack at first. Good for you, they might say in response. Don't get cocky with your newfound authority. Please don't let this cause you to miss out on family functions because you're too busy. What exactly does this imply for everyone involved? A weak narcissist might respond, let's see, you're a regional manager at a company nobody's ever heard of. That promotion seems to be passed around until employees get bored with the company and look elsewhere for employment. To me, work is more important than accolades and advancement. It's all about your bare brainpower and imagination. They give you a fancy job title and a salary, and you stick around, making things simpler for everyone. You're so easy to manipulate. The work I do is different, and people don't always appreciate what I do. One example of a malignant narcissist response would be, "What do you mean, all that travel? Please don't make me wait too long. There's no way this could work. If you don't pay your share, we'll have to have a serious talk. Besides, with whom did you have sex to land this position?" Examining the narcissist's thought process reveals that any praise or good news you receive, even if it comes from someone who should care about you, will be filtered through the prism of what it means for the narcissist. As a rule, grandiose narcissists act in this way. They may give you a token of their congratulations, but they would likely be hostile to the news of your successes or the fruits of your labor. This is because receiving narcissistic supply is indicative of success, and success can be interpreted as a sign of increased authority. They're not happy about this at all. A narcissist will see a threat in any situation where someone else improves relative to themselves. Grandiose narcissists are masters at putting on a supportive front in situations where they feel threatened, such as when other people achieve success, like when your sister buys a new house. Those around you may express their approval by saying things like, "That's cool," or "good for you." A passive-aggressive remark might help them keep their power, though. Another option is that they quickly shift the focus back to themselves in an attempt to gain approval. For example, they could reply, "Yeah, things are good for me too. I'm getting a new car because we just had our best quarter ever. They remind me of a mating animal that puffs up its feathers to show who's boss." Narcissism has many facets, and envy is one of them. Their envy is a manifestation of their own self-doubt. They either look up to others as role models or hold them in contempt. They may also mistakenly believe that no one else is genuinely pleased for them when they receive good news. For instance, a party may be thrown if the narcissist is experiencing a period of personal success. People will automatically attribute envy and jealousy to others at the party. They may be approached by a person with a healthy mental state who says something like, "I'm genuinely thrilled for you. You've wanted this for a long time, and you've put in a lot of effort to get it. You can't help but feel a little envious of me. I'm dominating the competition. Maybe you've dreamed of having a home just like this one." Obviously, everyone would want that. Worse yet, they might remark, "I don't know how you managed to live down there in the city. It's sticky and stuffy outside. It's better out here, where there's more space and fresh air." Another form of threat they'll discuss in conversation is the possibility of being let down. It could be as simple as not getting tickets to the concert they really want to see. The realization that they are not more deserving of the tickets than anyone else puts a dent in their sense of superiority and entitlement. Perhaps the fridge is malfunctioning. Why does bad stuff keep happening to me? When bad things happen to me, I just want to cry because I'm a good person. Let's proceed to the third scenario now. The third scenario is the most frustrating because they weren't paying attention in the first place. You might tell them about an upcoming flight you have together, a dinner reservation you made, a birthday party you were invited to, or a deadline that's quickly approaching via email, text, or verbal communication. However, no matter how often you relay this information, things continue to get muddled, and you may begin to worry that you're going crazy. When we take into account the inner workings of the narcissist's mind as they process this, we find that it mirrors scenario 1. It's frustrating that they don't seem interested in what you have to say. But that's not even the whole story. It's puzzling how they could have forgotten something as simple as their flight details for a vacation, the time of a dinner reservation they requested, or a scheduled event they were interested in attending. The inability to listen, and more often than not, the lack of genuine care, presents the greatest challenge in understanding narcissistic relationships. Quite often, they tune out the world and focus inward. The unfortunate part of these connections is that they may grow increasingly contemptuous of you as your supply runs out, which it inevitably will. Once they decide you're no longer important, and you all go down with them, their inflated sense of self-importance means they stop caring about what you have to say. Missed plans or arguments in which they gaslight you by claiming you never mentioned something despite having evidence, like 100 texts, to prove otherwise are common results. Narcissistic people have warped attentional systems. They are laser-focused on protecting their inflated sense of self-importance, avoiding criticism, and maximizing their own ego satisfaction. Because of this, getting close to a narcissist can be challenging because they don't care about the minutiae of daily life. If they think they can contain you in their orbit, they are less likely to pay attention to you. They enjoy the chase and the game, but aren't as invested in keeping the connection alive. This dynamic clarifies why individuals repeatedly experience love bomb, Hoover, and love bomb phases. When you first meet someone, they can be quite captivating. But yours and my narcissistic supply, like everyone else's, eventually runs out, and our interest in you wanes. The person isn't listening to you and will likely place the blame on you if things get out of hand, or if they have to rearrange their schedule and feel inconvenienced as a result. It's possible they'll say they didn't know it. This is a difficult circumstance in which victory seems impossible. They may begin to view you as annoying if you constantly call to remind them of upcoming dates or reservations. You're taking a chance that they'll hear and remember it if you only bring it up once. You'll be stuck there forever, on edge, because you know they'll get angry when the time comes that you warned them about. They may also react with complete surprise, as if they are just hearing it for the first time, which can make you feel crazy. No, you're not crazy. Their internal psychological mechanism just isn't in sync with reality the same way that a person whose mental health has been maintained is. What interests them is all that holds their attention. It's all about controlling their thought processes and feeding their narcissistic needs. Their world is full of dangers, and you may find that you are one of them unwittingly. Many inquire about possible alternatives. There are ways around it, that's for sure. However, these methods won't prevent them from lashing out at you, which is the most dangerous part. The trains can run on time, even if you do everything in your power to delay them. Get some friends who will listen to you and support you. Watching videos like this can help you realize that you are not at fault. When someone's wrath is directed at you, however, it doesn't matter how well you've played your part or how strictly you've adhered to the rules. It still hurts. Understanding the mechanics of something or someone does not make the pain of being mistreated any less real. Knowing how it works won't make it any less unpleasant. However, letting go of some of the confusion may allow you to experience a slight sense of grounding. There's no way to sugarcoat it. These friendships hurt. No, I can't make everything better, but I can try to ease the ache of your bewilderment. Thank you again, and I'm hoping this helps.